You get a trending news anchor dream life with billions in ad revenue, but you can never unlearn tragedy, and every piece of bad news ages you 1 hour. Do you accept? Elena Voss was 29 years old and $47 away from overdraft when the email arrived. Not a job offer exactly, a contract. One paragraph, no company name, no return address, just a phone number and a single sentence. You will know every tragedy on earth the instant it begins. The world will pay you for it. She almost deleted it. Almost. But $47 is $47, and the number on the attached term sheet was not $47. It was $200 million per year in guaranteed ad revenue share, paid weekly, with a signing bonus of $12 million wired within 72 hours of acceptance. No interviews. No portfolio. No experience required. The only credential the contract asked for was a pulse. She called the number. A woman answered on the first ring and said, "You read the terms?" Elena said yes. The woman said, "Then you know the cost. Every tragedy you learn, you keep. Permanently. You cannot drink it away, therapy it away, sleep it away. It lives in you. And every piece of bad news ages your body 1 hour. Not your mind. Your body. Your skin, your bones, your cells. 1 hour every time." Elena asked how often bad news happens. The woman paused. "Constantly," Elena signed. The $12 million hit her account on a Thursday afternoon. By Friday morning, she had paid off her mother's mortgage, cleared her student loans, and settled the remaining medical debt from her father's final year in the hospital. She bought a building in Lower Manhattan with a rooftop view of the skyline and converted the top floor into a broadcast studio. Within 6 days, she was the fastest growing news channel on the planet, breaking stories minutes and sometimes hours before every major network. A bridge collapse in Jakarta. She had it first. A chemical fire outside Lyon. First. A political coup in a country most people couldn't find on a map. First. Advertisers fought for slots at premium rates. A 30-second spot during her evening broadcast started at $40,000 and doubled within weeks. Her first full month generated $83 million in revenue. Her second month, $210 million. By month 6, her channel was valued at $4 billion, and she had personally cleared $900 million. The first time she felt the aging, she was on air. A mining accident in Chile, 34 workers trapped underground. The moment the knowledge arrived in her mind, she felt a tightness in her knuckles, a dryness in her skin, like someone had fast-forwarded the clock on her hands. She looked down during a commercial break. The fine lines around her fingers had deepened. 1 hour. She kept broadcasting. The next morning, her reflection showed it. Faint crow's feet that hadn't been there the night before, a slight looseness along her jaw. She told herself it was manageable. She hired a dermatologist, a nutritionist, and a longevity specialist on a $200,000 annual retainer. She invested in red light therapy beds, hyperbaric chambers, NAD infusions twice a week at $1,400 per session. She sat down with a spreadsheet and calculated the math. On an average day, she absorbed maybe 15 to 20 pieces of significant bad news. 20 hours of aging per day. On a catastrophic day, maybe 40 point. She was 29, but her body was aging at roughly 20 times the normal rate. She ran the numbers again. If she held on for the full 24 months at an average of 18 hours per day, she would biologically age approximately 13 additional years. She would walk away at 31 looking 44. Unsettling, but not catastrophic. Not if the money was right. She had a plan. Build the brand, sell the platform within 2 years to a major media conglomerate for a lump sum, walk away. The aging would stop the moment she stopped receiving the news. The contract was clear about that. No more knowledge, no more aging. She just had to get through 24 months. Her friend Marcus, a former financial advisor she'd hired at $500,000 a year to manage her wealth, sat across from her in the studio one night after a broadcast. "You look tired," he said. "I'm aging about 18 hours a day," she said. "Some days more. Have you thought about stopping and give up the channel?" "Marcus, I'm making more in a week than most networks make in a quarter." "Dead people don't spend money, Elena," she waved him off. The plan was solid. 2 years, then out. But then came October 14th. A single day that destroyed every calculation she had made. 5 simultaneous earthquakes across the Pacific Ring of Fire. A famine declaration in East Africa. An industrial explosion in a factory complex in India. A mass shooting in Scandinavia. A typhoon making landfall in Vietnam. By midnight, Elena had absorbed 97 pieces of significant bad news. 97 hours of aging in one day. 4 days of life, burned through in hours. She stood in front of the bathroom mirror at 1 in the morning and saw a woman in her mid-30s staring back. She was still 29. She called Marcus at 2 in the morning. "I need to sell. Now. Today. I can't do this anymore. I've been telling you for months," he said. "But here's the problem. The buyers I've spoken to want the channel, but the contract is tied to you personally. The knowledge flows to you and only you. If you sell and walk away, the channel becomes worthless overnight. It's not a media company, Elena. It's you. You are the product. She hung up and stared at the wall of monitors in her studio. 64 screens, each showing a different feed from a different corner of the world. She couldn't look away from them, even when she tried. The knowledge came whether she wanted it or not. She couldn't filter it, couldn't mute it, couldn't step back. The next morning brought news of a refugee crisis that aged her another 11 hours before she'd even finished breakfast. She tried to negotiate. She called the woman from the original phone call, the one who had never given a name. "I want out," Elena said. "I'll pay whatever you want. Name a number." The woman was quiet for a long time. "The contract doesn't have an exit clause," she finally said. "But there is a transfer provision. You can pass the gift to someone else. They take the knowledge, the aging, the revenue. All of it. They just have to accept." Elena felt her stomach drop. She could give it away. She could hand this entire burden to another person and walk free. But who would she even ask? And what would that make her? She spent the next week quietly researching whether anyone had ever held this contract before her. The woman on the phone wouldn't give names, but Elena found traces. A news anchor in Turkey who had aged 40 years and 18 months and died on air of a heart attack at what the world believed was 73. He was 31. A blogger in Brazil who had transferred the contract to her own brother and now lived in a penthouse in Sao Paulo, wealthy beyond imagination, while her brother aged in a hospital bed, hooked to machines, still receiving the news, still earning money he would never live to spend. The brother was 26 and looked 90. Elena sat in her studio with the transfer document open on the desk in front of her. The number on her latest bank statement read $1.4 billion. Her body, biologically, was somewhere around 41. She had been doing this for 14 months. 300 resumes sat in her inbox from people willing to trade years of their life for that kind of money. She could pick one tonight, hand over the contract, and be free by morning. The real question wasn't whether she could find someone to take it. She could. The real question was whether the tragedies already living inside her, the hundreds of disasters she could never unlearn, would continue to age her after the contract was gone. The woman on the phone had never answered that. And Elena was afraid to ask, because deep in her bones, in the bones that had already aged years beyond their time, she already suspected the answer.